clarity. How do you compare to greatness? They really illustrate a team's flaws. And when the Lakers face Denver, you really see their flaws that can be hidden against average teams to slightly better than average. D'Angelo Russell, can't trust him in big playoff spots. Austin Reeves, he's a nice 4, not a great one. Lakers bench, Darvin Ham, meh. AD and LeBron were great. 13 total assists, 59 total points, 56% from the floor. LeBron and AD were fantastic. It's a great 1-2 punch. But Denver has the world's best player in Jokic. And maybe the best duo in the league with Jamal Murray, who's one of the rare players who's significantly better in the playoffs than in the regular season. Aaron Gordon, a top athlete defender. Michael Porter, 17-7. KCP, always lethal in the postseason. And an experienced championship-winning coach. Twice in Game 1, Denver just shifted gears for like 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes, blew the Lakers' doors off. And again, LeBron and AD were great. But the Lakers have lost 9 straight to Denver, and they've led by 10 or more in half of those games. But the difference is the Nuggets give you consistent excellence with an occasional spurt. The Lakers are hot and cold. There's a nuanced analytic stat called organized offense percentage by quarter. It's boring, but what it illustrates is Denver is literally the same team the entire game. And the Lakers were very good early and very bad late. As LeBron, as his age gets older and gets tired, he often gets very sloppy, and that initiates these big Denver 2-minute runs, and it's game over. So Denver's very much a marathon runner. They run the first mile at the same speed as the last mile, and they know it's Steve Prefontaine. They can endure more than you can over the course of a couple hours. And you're just watching an excellent team. And I said before the series, it's not that the Lakers are going to lose, because they are. But what if they get swept again or lose in 5 games, which they will? What are the repercussions? LeBron has options. Golden State is interested. Will Darvin Ham get run out? D'Lo's gone. Are they tired of just Austin Reeves, AD, and nobody else on the bench you can really trust? There are repercussions for great players when they lose. Maybe not for KD, who's a bit of a wanderer, but there have been historically for LeBron, who is not. He's just mobile, but when he gets his feet in the ground in a place he wants to live, he's going to make changes. So this series and these games, 9 straight times I've watched all these games, they're all the same. D'Lo doesn't deliver. It feels like they're slightly outcoached. They have moments of excellence, but it's the continued, consistent success that Denver provides, and it creates clarity. That's the great thing about championship teams. You look at the Chiefs. You start looking at great teams across the board. Michigan this year, they point out your flaws, what you need to work on. And boy, does Denver do that to the Lakers, and here's LeBron after.
You don't have much room for error versus Denver team, especially on their home floor. They're just a team that's been through everything. Obviously, they're the defending champion, so you got to execute, you got to make shots, you got to defend, and then you can't give them extra possessions.
No, you can't. All right, it's draft week. It is. You can keep telling me something is great, but I need proof, data, something. I've been hearing for years Joel Embiid is a great all-time center. Okay, so all the great centers since I started watching the NBA in 1972, they've all won championships. Wilt, Moses Malone, Bill Walton, Akeem, Shaq, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, now Jokic. They've all won. Walton in the 70s, Wilt. 72 is the first year I remember watching the NBA. They've all won. Even second-tier centers, Ewing, Dwight Howard, got to finals. Embiid's been in the league for like 11 years. He's played for 8 of them. Came in hurt. He's never won a second-round Eastern Conference playoff series. The East has never been this weak. I mean, I love the Knicks, but a 2 seed? It's never been this weak. He's got a second star. He lost this weekend. Again, he's losing in the East, often losing as the favorite. In this Knicks series, he has a second star. Maxey was great, 33 points. Kyle Lowry, the ghost of Kyle Lowry appeared. He was really good. And you're going to let Josh Hart and Miles McBride beat you. Jalen Brunson has very few stinkers. That may be the only one in the series. 8 for 26, didn't play well, not efficient. He's a great player. So Jalen Brunson doesn't play well. Jalen Brunson doesn't have a second star. He's got rotational guys, number 3 and 4 guys. Embiid gets his number 2 guy that plays out of his mind. Kyle Lowry plays an incredibly important game. I'm sorry. I need proof. Well, the MVP, let's be honest, that was an anti-Jokic vote. It wasn't a pro-Embiid vote. You got tired of the European guy dominating MVP voting, and Jokic is truly great. He does more well than Embiid does, and he's always available. But all the top players right now in the NBA who at least have some age on them and experience, they've all been to conference finals. Kawhi's and Jimmy Butler's and Steph and LeBron and AD and Tatum. It doesn't matter. They've all been to conference finals. Joel Embiid can't win a second-round playoff series in the East. The weakest it's ever been. At some point, dude, you were 0 for 5 in the fourth quarter. At some point, I need more April, May, and June wins. I'm sorry. I'm not going to put you in all these classes. Oh, he's Shaq. He's this. He's that. He's a center who's often not available and not clutch in big playoff spots. And this was a break. This was a window. Jalen Brunson has very few clunkers. Doesn't have many of those. You may not get another one in the series. Maxey was sensational. Kyle Lowry was good. I'm sorry that you have to change this narrative. It's not on us. This is about you delivering. That's the difference between very good and a stat monster. At this point, Embiid's a stat monster. There's nothing else beyond it. He's a 320 hitter in baseball that never wins a playoff series. You got to give me something here. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line
Am I wrong?
You're right. I mean, now Sixers fans push back. Well, with Embiid on the floor, they were plus 14. It's the non-Embiid minutes, and that's where I'm like, well, who do you look at for that? The GM. Where's our roster? I mean, Nick Batum bailed them out against the Heat. Remember that? He had like 20 points, 6 threes. Embiid goes off the floor, they got nothing.
If Embiid's off the floor and Jalen Brunson's playing poorly, you still have a star, and the Knicks don't. I mean, the Knicks, Brunson played poorly. Julius Randle not available. You Sixers can't beat them just when he's off the floor.
By the way, Tobias Harris benched in the fourth quarter again. Your guy, Tobias Harris. By the way, Jalen Brunson, are you ready for this? 5 offensive rebounds. Joel Embiid 3. How is a tiny point guard?
Well, the Knicks are incredibly likable because they squeeze every ounce of talent. They're Villanova in the pros.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of these grinder guys who just, the effort, Josh Hart is everywhere. So it's not about, and I do think there's a ceiling to this, but in the Eastern Conference, maybe there's not a ceiling to this team.
So a lot of pressure on Embiid to win this series. I thought Kevin Durant had the most pressure. I think it's probably Joel.
I think it's on Embiid.
Yeah. Big time. All right, let's get started with Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Your buddy, Jason Tatum. It wasn't a close game, so they rolled. He had a triple-double, 23, 10, and 10. He also got fouled, if you're watching at home. This is kind of a cheap shot by Caleb Martin in the final minute of the game.
You know what I was thinking about? So they're winning the game convincingly, and the Celtics still have Tatum in the game.
Yeah.
And Miami's like, Caleb, go be disruptive.
All right. Okay,
Am I wrong? A little bit of a cheap shot.
All right, well, here's what Tatum said about the cheap shot after the game.
Just understanding it's playoff basketball, right? It's a physical game, playing against a physical team. You know, gonna happen. It's not the last time I'm probably gonna get hit like that or fouled in this series. So, I wasn't hurt. You get hit like that, just get up.
I mean, if you look at it, third and fourth time, you see Drew Holiday gave a little shove to Martin, who then was a little.
Let's watch the highlight. I didn't quite see that. Is that what you're trying to sell me on that?
Listen, I don't think it was dirty. I don't think Spoelstra's dirty. Caleb Martin plays hard. This is a guy I bet on a lot back in college. He's just a guy will not stop playing for 40 minutes. I did like how Jaylen Brown stepped up for his buddy there. That's a potentially scary fall for Tatum, who is.
No, I like Jaylen Brown came over to show hands.
Yeah, basically anybody shoves you like that, I'm going to step up. Hey, settle down, buddy. All right. Next up, let's go to the Dallas Mavericks. Boy, I picked them to go to the finals. They did not look good.
They had 30 points at half.
Yeah, so Cowherd, calls me yesterday and is just mocking the Mavericks for 5 minutes, and I just had to take it. No Kawhi Leonard. 30 points at half for the Mavs, and Jason Kidd talked about the embarrassment after the loss.
I thought their physicality was the biggest thing that stands out. They were physical and we were passive, so we have to look at that when we look at the video tonight and tomorrow, that the physicality, we have to embrace that and do better on the floor, and understand we got wide open looks that we just didn't make. We were 1 from 6 from the corner from 3. Normally we knock those down, so we'll look and see and how we can get better, and hopefully we have a better effort in the first half.
Yeah, Phoenix and Dallas, honestly, just didn't really want to engage. Like Phoenix and Dallas from the very beginning both got pushed all over the floor. Just a really weak effort. Now, again, it's a 7-game series. Dallas, I don't know about Phoenix. Dallas is going to play well. They're a little bit of a lopsided roster where their scoring comes from basically 2 players, whereas the Clippers have 4 guys, sometimes 5 that could give you points. Even Terrence Mann can sometimes drop a 20. Yeah. But I think Dallas will recover. Like this game, when they had 30 at half, you're like, okay, that's not the way this series is going to look.
So it felt like motivation was everything. Mavs came in the hottest team in the league, I think 17-2.
So the Clippers are on their toes, ready to go.
No Kawhi Leonard, so Mavs are like, we got this. And, these jabronis like you and I saying, oh, Mavericks got this series. I think everybody picked the Mavs to win this series. So Ty Lue motivated his guys.
Yeah.
And you could see, Zubats came out and was dominant. He had I think 20 and 15.
He was really good.
And by the way, remember, James Harden last year, what did he do early in the series?
Oh, no, he's very good. Harden's playoff history is good early in series.
Oh, yeah. Harden couldn't miss yesterday. We'll see how that goes in Game 6 and 7. So just file that away, all the paper Clips fans in my mentions. Final story, let's get to the NFL. This is kind of interesting. Dak Prescott finally talking about his new contract.